We've found that growing microgreens in these sprouting trays can be quite difficult, but today we're going to show you our step-by-step tutorial on how you can grow microgreens successfully using these trays. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can grow spicy oriental mustard using these green sprouting trays. Now, these are trays that you can find on Amazon, and we've actually been using them more in our grow space because they do such a great job. There just is a few hurdles that you have to get over, but we're going to go over that in this video. So the first thing that we're going to do is pick our grow medium. For this video, I want to use cocoa coir because I love cocoa, and all I need to do now is just grab me a scoop of that. So if you want to follow me over there, we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm only using 2 cups. So now just make sure you spread this out. Perfect. Just try to get it as even as possible. Now it's time to go ahead and get our seed. Here next to me, I have my spicy oriental mustard, which I'm going to be using 10 grams of. And I've found that 10 grams is just 1 tablespoon. So let's go ahead and pull that out. Now that we have our 10 grams of seed, what I'm going to do is just seed it the best that I can and just try to do that as evenly as you can. Perfect. And I'm going to turn off my scale real quick. All right, now that we have seeded our tray, we need to water them. So I'm gonna grab my little watering device here. Since now we're in our house, it's a lot different. And we're just gonna give this a nice good watering. Making sure not to get too saturated, but you want enough water so that way they germinate really well. And this is where it becomes different from whenever you're using the 10-20 trays, because for this entire grow, we're only gonna be using 2 trays, which is the trays it comes with. So what you're going to do now is you're gonna take that white tray, take it out, take your next tray, and you're gonna have some leftover in it, so just try to clean that out the best you can. I'm just gonna get some of that out of there. All right, and then you're gonna take that bottom tray, simply place it on top, and it becomes your top tray. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is, we bought these little mini pavers, they're so cute, but these mini pavers are perfect size for this tray, and they're about 7 pounds. I'm gonna place that on top of my seeds on top of this tray. Now what we're going to do is just put this on a shelf on an empty spot, which I gotta look around because their shelves are looking pretty full, and we're just going to let that germinate. And from this point forward, I will give you guys little updates whenever we change into the next stage of this grow. So I'll see you then. Today is day 2 of our spicy oriental mustard grow, and what we're going to do is go ahead and remove this brick and carefully pull this off and just take a look. So right now what you're seeing is a lot of these seed holes sticking to the bottom of this tray, and that is perfectly okay. We actually want this to happen because this tells me that this tray and this weight are doing exactly what I want them to do, which is making contact with that seed, which makes our tray get better germination and will later help remove those seed holes. So since these are sticking on here, I'm gonna be very careful not to shake this so they don't go anywhere. And we're just gonna put this just like that and go ahead and water our crop for the day. And I forgot to mention yesterday, but I am watering this twice a day. So right now it's morning time and watering them, and then later in the day, I'm gonna come out and water them again. Okay, and something else that I like to do whenever they're stuck to the bottom of this tray is, personally, I like to just give them a little bit of encouragement to detach themselves from that tray by giving them a little bit of water. And now all we're going to do today is just take that tray exactly how it was before and quickly put it back on top of there so the seeds don't get anywhere, and then place your brick back on top of this tray. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this on a dark shelf. Yesterday I put it on my light shelf just because it was the closest thing to me, but we want this to be in a dark area so that way the light doesn't affect the grow. So that's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Today is day 3 of our spicy oriental mustard grow, and today we are going to be looking for 3 major signs that this is ready to move into the next stage, which is blackout. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Start by carefully removing that brick and move this out of our way. Okay, the things that we are looking for today are these driving their radicals into the grow medium, which yes they are. We can tell because these little white parts are going down into that. The next thing is going to be, is there even germination? Which I'm going to say yes, it looks like all of our seeds have germinated. And then the third major thing that we are looking for today is, are those seed holes removed? And that is a definite yes here. I'm not seeing a bunch of brown spots. I'm actually seeing a lot more of this yellow plant coming through. So that is a sign that today is going to be blackout day. But before I do that, I need to actually water this so that way they don't dry out during that process. We're just gonna give it pretty decent watering here because I noticed my medium is getting slightly lighter in color, which tells me they need a little bit more water. Now what we are going to do to take this into blackout is that green tray that we had on like this, that had the weight on top. We're gonna take that and first remove any of this gunk that's on there right now. And what I do is I just take a towel and I wipe this into this little bucket I have down here, which we later move this into our compost bin outdoors. Now that we have wiped that off, what we're going to do is, instead of putting it back on like this, I'm gonna take it and flip it like this so it becomes a dome. And this is gonna be our blackout dome. The purpose of blackout is to basically restrict these plants from getting light, and that way they try to find that light and they end up stretching in the process. And what this will do is later on, whenever you get to harvest day, it is going to make your life so much easier because some plants like to stay very short, which trying to get in there with a knife is not fun. I've cut myself before in the past and it is not enjoyable to do that. So that is why we put these into blackout. That is it for today. So all I got left to do is I'm gonna put this back on my dark shelf back there, and I'll come back out tomorrow. We'll take a look at these and see if maybe they're ready to come out of blackout. See you then. Today is day 4 of our grow, and what we're going to do is we're going to remove this blackout dome, and let's take a look. So right now, this has been in blackout for 1 full day, and by the looks of this, I personally want to put it into blackout for 1 additional day. And the reason is because this is still pretty short, and I want my microgreens just to be a tad bit taller. That way further down in the growth, it's gonna be a lot easier to harvest these. Now all we have to do today is just give them a nice little mist here. Make sure they're nice and watered. That way they don't dry out during blackout. Okay, and now we're just going to take that lid, put it back on there, and place this back on our shelf. I will see you guys tomorrow whenever we take this out of blackout. Today is day 5 of our grow, and these have been in blackout for 2 full days. So let's go ahead and take a look at these and see where they're at. Bam! Currently, these guys I think are at the perfect height. So that is telling me that we are ready to move out of blackout and go into the light for the first time. Because we are going into the light, that means that we now need to begin bottom watering. And to bottom water using these trays, what we're going to do is that tray, that nice little green tray that we've used a lot, that was on top like this, we're going to reverse it and slide it underneath there, and it is now your bottom tray. Now we need to add our water. For this grow, I'm going to be using my ocean solution water mixture, and we are going to bottom water it. So let me go ahead and grab that real quick and we will get into doing this. Now something with these Amazon green trays that's a lot different than our regular 10-20 trays is with our 10-20 trays, whenever we are first watering them, we generally start off with about 1/4 cup of water, and that will water the crop perfectly for at this point in the growth. But with the Amazon green trays, you actually have to give them a little bit more water at this stage because for some of the trays, there is a pretty sizable gap between where this meets the bottom of this tray. This is something you're gonna have to pay really close attention to and make sure that you see water touching this bottom area so that way you know your plants are getting watered. All right, so currently we are already at 2 cups of water underneath here and it's still not touching this like I want to. So I'm gonna add another 1/2 cup of water, which will put us at 2.5 cups. And now we are making contact. So this is something, and actually one of the big reasons why I wanted to do this video is because people are having issues with their crop getting water, which results in them kind of falling over and everything. And that's something that you're going to be a lot more aware of with these trays. But once you learn how to use them, they actually are really great trays. Now, because I have given these quite a bit of water and I actually water these not on my shelf, I now have to take this and walk it over here carefully and not slosh water everywhere. So personally, I would advise you to water this on your shelf so you don't have to move it. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is later tonight, I'm gonna come back out, double check my grow medium and see how that's looking. And if it looks like it is beginning to get dry, I will add a little bit more water into that, and that will be it for today. In case you're curious, the lights that I'm placing these under are our 20-watt shop lights from Barina. These lights are lights that we generally suggest to people because they are super affordable and they do a great job growing microgreens. Well, you guys, that's it for today. Today is day 6 of our grow, and these have been underneath this light for 2 days now. So I'm going to pull this off the shelf, and that way we can take a look at them. Taking a look at this crop, I think it's at a perfect height, and overall, this crop is looking super happy and healthy, which tells me that we have successfully grown microgreens using a sprouting tray. Yay! So all we have left at this point is to basically guide this to the finish line, and what we need to be paying attention to is the crop's appearance and the grow medium. Now, things you're going to be looking for with your crop's appearance is signs of overwatering, underwatering, and pathogens. This is the same for the grow medium. You need to be looking for those 3 things. So usually whenever you walk into your grow space, you're gonna look straight at your crops. And when you look at them, you're gonna notice if there's anything going on. Usually if we see some that are falling over, what we like to do is we actually go up to that tray and we begin checking out that grow medium. What the grow medium will tell you is if it is underwatered, overwatered, or there's something else going on. If you see that the grow medium is actually really dry, you can even touch it if you need to, but if you notice that it is dry in any way, that's a sign that you need to give it water. Now, just because the crop's falling over, that doesn't necessarily mean it's only underwatering. It could also be a pathogen or too much water. So things that you can do is check if there's a pathogen. Generally, you're gonna see areas where it's dying off, or maybe on the root structure, it's all slimy and gross looking, which that's not good. Or if it is overwatered, you will notice it by just looking here, because we actually made this mistake, but see how you can kind of see all that water super stuck and saturated into that grow medium. And luckily we caught that in time before it destroyed our crop. And all we did whenever we overwatered was we just didn't water it for an entire day. And even after 1 full day, this crop still has enough water and doesn't need any more. So once you have identified what is going on with your crop, all you have left to do is fix that and then guide it to that finish line, which is harvest day. So whenever it's harvest day, things that you are going to be looking for are majorly, if there is a true leaf showing, that is generally a sign that it is time to harvest. But if you're unsure, what you can do is actually just pluck one of these guys off, just like this, and give it a taste test and see if that flavor is what you're looking for. Another thing that you're going to be wanting to look for is the plant height. Right now, I'd say that this is actually pretty good. If it went slightly higher, that'd be okay, but you don't want it to be to where it is just going like this and falling over like a bad haircut. Alright guys, so the point of this video was to see if we could successfully grow microgreens using a sprouting tray, which we have done it! And now the crowd goes wild. But anyways, now at this point, we are just going to follow this until it is done with this grow, which we are going to be paying attention to that crop appearance and the grow medium. Once we have harvested this, what we like to do with the medium is just take it out of the tray and then toss it into our compost, which we later use. If you want to know more about that, we have an awesome blog on composting your grow medium on our website, which is www.onthegrow.net. Hopefully with this video, you guys now know that you can grow microgreens using one of these sprouting trays. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you dislike it, give it a thumbs down. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. And like I said before, we have our awesome website, which has tons of blogs and other cool stuff on it. And that is www.onthegrow.net. We also have a Facebook and an Instagram. They're both @OnTheGrowFarms. Thank you so much. Keep on believing and enjoy your sprouting trays.